Imagine giving 8 years of your life to a company. You lead the top-performing sales team, cover extra shifts, and fix mistakes for your colleagues without asking for credit. Then, exactly 7 days before your wedding, you are called into a silent conference room and find yourself staring at this, a white envelope sliding across a polished oak table. Your boss delivers the news with a practiced, sympathetic sigh, blaming mysterious budget cuts. Behind him, a junior manager you helped train laughs into his coffee, whispering loud enough for you to hear that your wedding will get a lot cheaper. The company doesn't let you pack your desk in peace. They call security. You are escorted out like a criminal, while the coworkers you spent years supporting suddenly find their computer screens incredibly fascinating. A corporate exit like this is designed to isolate you. When an employer strips your identity in front of an audience, it creates a psychological vacuum. You instinctively start questioning your own competence, wondering what you did to deserve a security escort. Then the math sets in. The severance pay doesn't cover the final vendor payments for a wedding less than a week away. The caterers, the florist, and the venue all require balances that your bank account can no longer provide. While you are paralyzed by the realization, your fiancé takes your phone. She calls the venue manager and quietly cancels the reservation. In a matter of minutes, months of careful planning are dismantled with calm efficiency. A toxic workplace can destabilize your entire personal foundation. Watching someone you love cry behind a closed door because your employer needed to make a cut changes your perspective. That initial grief turns into a cold, enduring hunger to balance the scales. The pivot arrives weeks later at a firm called Horizon Dynamics. During the interview, the executive ignores your sales metrics and reveals he called your former clients. Everyone described you as the only reason they stayed with your old employer. Healthy organizations prioritize character over blind compliance. At Horizon, managers solve problems instead of punishing mistakes, and executives invest in their staff rather than treating them as disposable assets. You accept a role as the Director of Business Development. The salary is double your previous earnings, complete with stock options, a signing bonus, and a dedicated budget to develop your new team. This environment provides the stability missing from your previous career. By valuing integrity, the company positions you as an authority rather than an asset, preparing you to lead the upcoming transition. 3 months later, Horizon Dynamics acquires Westbridge Solutions, the exact employer that fired you. As the new senior vice president, you are put in charge of reviewing every management position at your old company. You walk back through the front doors wearing an executive badge. Your former boss and the managers who mocked your exit now sit across your desk for formal interviews, entirely unaware of your new authority. The narrative shifts when the former HR manager requests a private meeting. She hands over a hidden file detailing Project Phoenix, a plan that reframes your entire termination. A multi-million-dollar loss originating from the director was redirected through a falsified HR report and pinned to your file. A ring of junior executives signed off to lock the false narrative, while actively siphoning company funds through fake bonuses and altered invoices. Uncovering a $4 million fraud changes the dynamic of your review. You are no longer a wronged employee seeking an apology. You are an objective auditor with the evidence needed to trigger a federal investigation. The corrupt executives are summoned to the boardroom where they fired you. They expect a routine meeting, unaware they are stepping into an investigation. Auditors connect to the projector and present a clinical breakdown of the fraud. They reveal bank records and approval logs for 27 suspicious transactions, each one linked to the people sitting at the table. The alliance between the managers shatters instantly. The junior executives begin pointing fingers at their boss, claiming they only followed his instructions, desperately trying to trade his career for their own. You stand up and ask your former boss if he knew you were innocent on the day he called security. In front of the new board of directors, he is forced to admit that he knew exactly what he was doing. The board terminates the executives immediately. Security officers enter the room to escort them out of the building, mirroring the exact exit they forced on you 6 months earlier. Toxic systems collapse under pressure because they are built on self-interest rather than loyalty. They inevitably devour themselves, requiring only the truth to trigger the final breakdown. While those executives face the legal consequences of their fraud, you finally have your wedding. It's held in a small botanical garden with close friends and family, a quiet, meaningful start to your future. A year later, a letter arrives from your former boss. Stripped of his authority, he finally takes responsibility for his failures, admitting that you were right about the kind of leader he had become. You don't keep the letter as a trophy. You simply put it away and head home to your wife. Success happens when your life becomes so fulfilling that the people who tried to ruin you simply no longer matter.